We're glad to know that you're still there and watching us. This is the run-up, and we did promise you that it's going to be exciting. Right now, we are concerned about how many aides that the governors are employing at the 11th hour of their tenure. A lot of them that are doing this are leaving office. That means they have completed, or they're going to complete their 2 terms in office, so they're not coming back as governor in any way. So why are they doing this? Mr. Akatugba has just joined us. Mr. Theophilus Akatugba is a media consultant and a public affairs analyst. Good morning and welcome to the program, Mr. Akatugba.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm sure you guys are doing well.
Okay, some people are expressing concern that maybe there are some other motives that we do not know about. That's the reason these governors are employing aides that they didn't need all this while until now that they are almost leaving office. In Rivers State, we have Governor Nyesom Wike. He just engaged 100,000 aides into 100,000. You go to Cross River State, also they have about that number or a little bit above, and they are calling a scheme. They have a scheme now that they say food on the table scheme, where people from various polling units, various constituencies are given 30,000 naira monthly, and that will happen until the end of February. So what are your thoughts on what is happening right now in some of these states?
Well, first of all, what is happening is a very dangerous trend, a very dangerous, unsustainable act that is developing in the polity. And as you know, crime and misbehavior do change face. As you improve the system, people find other ways to circumvent the system. So you are now beginning to see another way with the improvement in the electoral regulations. You are beginning to look at ingenious ways that the governors and all these politicians want to have influence on the voter through using their agents, who they now call special assistants. So I think it's a dangerous development, and it portends a lot of danger to democracy, because ultimately this is not so sustainable. These jobs they're going to waste the resources of the state, but they argue that they are giving the money back to the people, so it can be some kind of welfare program. For me, it's not a positive development.
Yeah, a lot of people are calling it vote buying 2.0. Are you also calling it that?
Yeah, vote buying. This is not vote buying, because this 100,000 persons are only going to be used to mobilize voters. If in the process they extend money to the voter, that is another matter. But in some cases, they will not have the resources to, or take the risk of giving this quality of persons money to buy votes. This kind of persons will convert those monies to themselves. Vote buying takes place at a little more higher level, not this level of people that you've made special advisors. But for you to buy vote means you've got to give cash to a trusted person. If the person is not trusted, he will convert that money to his personal use and tell you that he bought the vote and the people voted the other way.
Okay, let's take, for instance, what is happening in Cross River State. In Rivers, we've heard he's calling them aides, okay. But in Cross River State, what is happening is, it started with what in Rivers they're calling aides now. The governor was giving 150,000. It came down to another set that was earning 100,000. It came down to a set that was earning, I think, 70,000. Now is 30,000. And these people are selected per polling unit in the state. And they say specifically that these people will be given this money until the end of February. Now, February is not when the tenure will end. February is when the election will be held. The tenure will end in May. So does this still not qualify as vote buying, in your opinion?
Okay, let's take it like this. The governorship election will be holding in March, not in February.
Okay, March,
The
sorry, yes.
presidential election holds in February. So if Wike is going to buy votes, I'm sure he will want to buy those votes, extend them till the time the election that is most important to him will be taking place. The same thing with the governor of Cross River. He has also a local election to battle in March. The same time, he's also very interested in the presidential election. What I want to tell you is this. What I feel is going on, like I said, vote buying. A friend of mine argued that vote buying is indeed part of the democracy. What is vote buying? You are convincing someone to vote for you. But if you think that's not enough, you give an incentive in cash to win him to vote for you. That's what we are calling vote buying. It is bad enough that you have money to sway someone away from his thought. It is the seller of the vote that is most guilty, not the one who extended the gifts. That's why our voters have not been developed enough to be so independent as to reject someone offering them something to make a choice. We are trying to ask the people, don't sell your vote, but he's not yet empowered enough to make that decision or to understand the implication. That's why democracy and illiteracy and poverty, they are not good friends. They don't, until we get to that understanding, we won't be able to eradicate this completely, but we can minimize it. And the politicians now know that it's difficult to write results, it's difficult to manipulate results, so they are going straight to the heart of the voter and convincing him, talking to him. If he doesn't accept, give him something that he needs. But it's a bad development, it's not good, and it's something that we must all continue, including the civil society organizations, including traditional rulers. We must continue to speak the language the voter understands. Once the voter understands this, you would have caught the problem by half.
Well, let's go back to the this hordes of people being employed by the governors. It's rather surprising that they are being given tasks, at this 11th hour, and some other people might argue that no matter how serious a task is meant for these people, you have local governments that are also in any case populated by loyalists of these governors, who could easily have also carried out the same tasks. Do you see do you have any comments on the seeming lack of engagement of political functionaries at the local government level for whatever purposes the governors have in mind, that's leading them to go and hire 100,000 or 50, 60,000 people?
What you have, the state of our local government is very sad, because you see, if the local governments are active, the societal complaints about ineffectiveness of government will be reduced. It is such a simple thing, but because the governors want to have control over the state, they incapacitated the local governments. And that's why you see the local governments are redundant. And at these levels they cannot trust the local government officials to be loyal to them. So that's why they are building a new crop of foot soldiers, because of the new battles they are fighting. They are fighting new battles. They no longer can vouch for the loyalty of the local government people, whom they have so maltreated over the years. And so you see them developing new foot soldiers and empowering them with monthly stipends, so that there is what you call a legality to the payment of the fund. They want to give it an official coloration, special advisor. They are paid a salary. So when you look at it, my mind is that in future, I hope the new people coming in will be civilized enough to utilize local government. This last minute resort is called a survivor tactics from troubled governors who did not utilize their proper soldiers. Now they are looking for new soldiers to recruit for the battle ahead.
Okay.
All right, while you were speaking earlier, you mentioned a point that struck me. You said something about the ineffectiveness of government. The last time I checked, especially in Cross River State, say 4, 5, 6 months ago, there's been a lot of complaints about people who are under the local government complaining about not getting their monthly pay, their salaries, and a lot of complaints about that. And then this person, the governor, is employing new people under whatever guise that he calls them, and he's paying them extra money. Meanwhile, people who are doing actual jobs, who are gainfully employed, supposed to say, are not being paid the way it is supposed to be. And my question is, isn't there a system that is supposed to put these kinds of things under check? You've been a governor for, say, 4, 8 years, and there's been a lot of backlog of complaints from people working in your ministries, in the state parastatals. And then this person thinks it's okay to make this type of move. Are there no ways put in place to check these things? And talking about aides, who are they? What are they even supposed to be doing in the first place?
They are in the part of world, in Delta, for example, where I come from, there are a lot of special advisors who are always in the neighborhood, who do nothing and get money monthly. That is the recklessness of the people elected to run government. For example, you ask if there are no checks. There are checks, but this resides with the State House of Assembly. The State Houses of Assembly, they are not independent because each one of them, as they are seeking a higher favor, and they have surrendered their own sovereignty to the governor. Most governors control the assemblies and dictate to them what they should do. In fact, most of them impose the speaker and then the entire House officers. And so whatever they like, they get away with. Look, every state in Nigeria is supposed to run like a mini country in a federation. That is the system. So you're supposed to have control at your state, whereby your state House of Assembly is supposed to be as independent as the National Assembly, so that at that level, a governor that is going this reckless can be called to order. So the control is there. But it is not utilized because those who are supposed to do the control have sold their birthright. And so they are there as rubber stamp and watching the governor misbehave, because in turn it will give them one favor or the other.
Let's make you the head of National Orientation Agency. If you are talking to the people, if you're talking to Nigerians now, whether youths, whether because you talked about educating the people to know how to choose, educating the people to know what to do at what time, what will you tell them to do? 2023 is just around the corner, so what do we need to do?
Let me tell those who are listening and watching. This period of choosing the next leaders of our country at various strata is not a moment for dancing. When I see people dancing, I see them being deceived, because when you dance, you lower your guard. So it's a moment for sober reflection. You are not to vote based on the colorful presentation of the person. You are to vote based on the antecedent, because a person's true color is his past, not his present. The things he has been doing. If somebody told you, I will bring Gary to you, and he never in his life brought Gary to anybody, even those offices he has held, why will you believe him now? Because someone is reinforcing it, it will bring Gary, it will bring... No. The voter needs to be more discerning, and especially the media. The Nigerian media is presenting himself as a vehicle of information. No, the media should help do the analysis so that the public will get more info. Now the media is already in bed dancing with the politician, conveying the message of the politician to the people. But you are supposed to say, no, wait a minute. This politician says he will do this, but he has always been against this in all of his debates at the National Assembly or wherever his policy thrust his position has never agreed with this new thing he's saying now. Media should let us know so that the people will, from the media, which is the information house, they will get the message and decide that, oh, I won't trust this man because he's never been what he's saying. How come he's saying that he will be now? I hope you understand. The voter, anyone who offers you money to vote for him has insulted you and your generation yet unborn. If that money, what he has done is to reduce all of your naira notes. So my call, do not sell your vote, but make a choice based on your personal conviction. But the media help us to make better decisions.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. Akatugba, for sharing your thoughts on the issues we just raised. We thank you for being a part of the run-up today.
And I thank you. I'm sorry about the interruptions. This hour, I had a lot of things scheduled for now.
It's
maybe
okay. Welcome to Nigeria. Welcome to Nigeria, Mr. Akatugba. Thank you very much for being there. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Well, all the time, the media gets indicted, like, you should do more, you should do more. That's the dilemma of the media. First of all, you're not supposed to take sides. You're just supposed to bring out the facts as they are. Like, if Mr. Akatugba were a politician, we let him talk. And another politician comes again and also talks. And then the people will have to choose. Otherwise, you will end up, sometimes they say you're forcing your opinion on the people. So you get confused. Do I say what I really feel in my mind?
Or do I think there's a difference.
Yeah, so
when you are doing an analysis and when you are voicing your opinion, it's two different things. If you're voicing your opinion, you're probably shoving it down our throats. But if you're making an analysis, you're bringing two facts and you're dissecting them, and then people are seeing it for themselves. You're not trying to make anybody believe you or accept your point. You're just putting it out there the way it is. Allow them to decide. But if you, Nyamgu, are telling me what you think,
okay, the other issue,
that's the difference.
The other issue is, no matter who is standing an election, you're standing to be voted for, might be seen as a very bad person to a majority of the people. But there will still be people who will die for this person, thinking that he's the best. That
is natural.
Because there must be some people he really serviced, he really served, whatever word you want to use.
Serviced.
It's natural. No, it's natural.
So that's the thing. So when you bring out the facts, what facts are you bringing out? For instance, when you go to the US or wherever the media houses are, CNN has a site, whether they say it or not. BBC has a site, whether they say it or not. And they will bring out the facts. But when you're bringing out the facts, what do you want the facts to say? Because facts can say some things as well.
The human being is a very dynamic animal. Permit me to use that language.
We are.
And that is why humans cannot be used as lab rats, if you understand what I'm saying. Because the moment you put us in a cage, you start playing along. I don't know if you understand where I'm going with this. So you are the person with the intentions. Your intentions would determine what your analysis and your facts will be. First off, it starts from the individual.
Intentions.
So if you as an individual, you have what is most important to you at the time is not your pocket, is not anywhere belef is. It is about the entire good of the country, which is the information or the message that the vehicle that we're trying to drive right now. Nigeria is in a state that we're trying to get her out of. So if Nigeria is your perspective, if Nigeria is what is important to you and not about what has to come after Nigeria comes, which most times is your pockets or your anywhere belef.
Stomach infrastructure.
Yes. So I think that is what is supposed to be more important. So when you look at these things, then you decide what facts would help you mostly to drive that point home. I think that is what is most important. Okay. And I also think that is what most media houses miss. Because I'm sorry, I'm in the media and I'm in the mix of all this, and sometimes it's annoying, but I have to say the truth. A lot of times we forget the main reason why we're the media, and we focus on...
Can I disrupt your thinking?
Someone said, just before you say, someone said that it's difficult to, let me paraphrase, if someone is educated, it's more difficult for you to enslave that person. And I also think when someone is educated enough, it's easier to be patriotic, because you'll be thinking, like she said, of the general good, not mostly about your pocket, because there are less people who are very educated that think only of their pocket, but they think more of the general good.
Can I disrupt your thinking? First, yes, the media has to set policy. That's why the media is considered to be the fourth estate of the realm. Okay, the media has to determine, to set an agenda, because political parties already have positions. In our case, maybe it's not so clear. If you talk of the APC or the PDP, they are almost the same thing. There's no ideological difference between the PDP and the APC, and that's why it's easy for them to cross carpets. You know, now. In places where political parties are clearly identifiable by their ideology, the media has a role to clearly set an agenda, to bring what is being swept aside. Because sometimes politicians do not want to address difficult issues. It's the responsibility of the media to keep forcing those difficult issues to the front burner so that it remains invisible, and they can respond or they can deal with it. You know, whether you have internally displaced persons that have been forgotten about, or you have flooding in areas that keep happening every year and nothing is done about it, it's not just enough to report, okay, this is 2022, it has flooded again, right? But we need to say it flooded in 2021, it flooded in 2020, it flooded in 2019. What exactly are you doing to make sure it doesn't flood in 2023? So to that extent, both of you are correct. Okay, because when you are pushing this agenda, you find that there are those who will accuse the media of being biased, whatever. But as long as the truth is sacrosanct, that policy is sacrosanct, that ambition to keep these issues on the front burner and get action taken is sacrosanct. I mean, why are we talking today of social media? When the uniformed official beats up somebody on the road and someone is able to film that and put it on social media, you find out that the likelihood that that person will be brought to book is higher than if that occurred where nobody had a video to get that. Because this is the importance of the media. So now, on the other hand, the media itself has an agenda. Okay? And this we need to also understand. Yes, the media itself has an agenda, right? And the question is it a good or a bad agenda? Because if you mentioned CNN and BBC, okay, these are, well-established, very visible media outlets. But they are not always, in my opinion, for instance, they never oppose the foreign policy. The BBC never opposes the foreign policy of the British government. CNN, after Ted Turner sold it, has never opposed the foreign policy of the United States. Go and check. So to that extent, it would seem to mean that the ideology of CNN or BBC in foreign relations tallies with the ideology of their countries. You see? So in that case, so whatever the government says, we are sending troops to Afghanistan, they don't oppose it. They don't say anything. Why are you sending troops to Afghanistan? They don't say that. Instead, they start telling you how good those troops that have been sent to Afghanistan is. So the media itself has, and here as well in our country, every media organization is okay, we want to push free trade, capitalism, or we want to push education, or we want to push the rights of single parents, whatever it is. Like Uche says, the bottom line should be, is this agenda for the good of the country, ultimately? And I think this is where we, as those who are either working in the media, engaged with the media, need to use that influence to always make sure that whatever we push is, as Mr. Akatugba was saying.
Then you will also...
This is a treatise.
You'll also factor in the possibility, or let me not use possibility, the fact that some media houses. I don't know whether they should make it a policy that no politician should ever own a media house.
No, you can't do that.
Because, well, you see, that's another problem that we will be facing. Like you said, media houses also set their own agendas. They have their own agenda. What if it is run by a politician who wants to push his own agenda?
It's perfectly legal. Don't forget that the Constitution, as part of the fundamental freedoms, the Constitution allows us not only to hold opinion, but to impart it. We are allowed to hold any opinion we want. It's part of our fundamental rights. But on top of that, the Constitution allows us to freely impart that opinion through the media,
as individuals, impart your...
Either as individuals, and you can decide to have a media outlet through which you disseminate that idea.
That's where my problem is. Because
exactly, because then it gets confusing.
He who pays the piper dictates the tune thing comes in. Because no matter how bad my agenda is, and if I am a very big media house, and I don't say the things that will indict you as the owner of the media, I have failed in my fundamental responsibility.
Let's go to the First Republic, Yambu. Let's go before the First Republic. During colonial regime in Nigeria, who were the owners of the first set of newspapers?
Politicians.
Yes, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo,
even up
and Herbert
to
Macaulay, and they used those newspapers to fight colonialism, right? Because we were colonized and we wanted freedom, it was right. You see? So
that's where the agenda comes in, right?
Okay, ladies, gentlemen, let's take a short break and return with the next guest. Stay with us.